Hello, hello, beautiful mamas. I hope you're doing great in your corner of the world. I'm doing fantastic here. So, welcome to our weekly Mama Goddess Chronicles live training. I'm very excited to be here with you today. Just give me a moment here. I just want to make sure that we are, in fact, live in our group. Take a second. Gotta multitask here. See us yet. Not sure if you can see me or not. Just want to make sure that we are, in fact, live in the group. Bear with me here a second. Yeah, I guess we are live. There we go. I think we're good. So welcome to our weekly Mama Goddess Chronicles live training. I'm very happy to be here with you right now. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that's, I think, a lot of you or some of you may have experienced. We're going to be opening a tender and powerful conversation, and that's releasing birth trauma, a holistic approach to emotional and physical healing. Whether your birth experience was recent, very recent, or decades ago, like me, just know this: your story is sacred, mama, and your pain is valid, and your healing is possible. And I'm so honored to walk this journey with you tonight. So I'm just going to pause a little bit and we're just going to take a little grounding breath here, just to make this sacred space even more sacred. So I'm just going to pause and kind of take a deep breath, hold it in, release. You feel yourself connected to your heart space, opening your heart space, your heart chakra, and just be and relax. And this helps grounding and release. I always like to ground myself. It's always good to ground oneself. So I want to start by sharing my own birth story. And I'm sure most of you, or like if you've experienced birth trauma when you gave birth, um, you'll definitely relate to this. And if not, well, it'll be an educational training, to help you in case you'd know someone or something like that. So over 26 years ago, in 1999, I went through a traumatic birth with my firstborn, Caitlin. After 34 hours of labor, she still wasn't coming in. They used forceps because she wasn't coming down. Her head was in transverse, like on the side like this, and my pelvis isn't wide, so she wasn't coming. So yeah, after trying to get her out and pushing, my gynecologist decided to use the dreaded forceps. I didn't, and for the forceps, it's like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure if you're like me, but when we are going to be moms for the first time, we kind of like have a picture in our mind, eh? We kind of visualize how the birth experience will be, and everything will be amazing and all will go well and all that. But sometimes it can happen where, you'll face challenges when you're giving birth. When me and my then partner, we had gone to the pre-birthing classes, postnatal classes, and we saw a video about the forceps, and it really bothered me. And I told my then partner that I didn't want the forceps. I never wanted it, but that didn't happen. When everything was going, it was going so fast. So my gynecologist decided to use the forceps to try to get my daughter out. So he did that. I was pushing with all my might, and he was pulling with all his might. And even with that, my daughter's heartbeat was starting to go down, like her heartbeat was reducing. So she was in trouble. So after all of this, it was an emergency C-section. So like by that time, that everything was just going like so fast. Like I didn't even have time to react. I was tired. Like anyway, everything was just happening around me. And I remember my then partner started to cry. Like when he found out, like after the forceps, like then I needed the C-section and all that. So anyway, they wheeled me in, got me ready for the emergency C-section, and finally I gave birth to my daughter. I was tired, of course, and that's when my postpartum journey started, because this was very traumatic for myself and also for my daughter. When I first saw her, she had a big mark across her face with a bulging eye. As soon as I saw her, I passed out, of course, because I was so tired. I was like I was tired. I was dead, basically. So I passed out and I slept all day. And I remember I woke up in the room. We'll be in my recovery room, and then they brought her to me, basically for the first time where I could actually hold her. And I remember I was groggy, and that's when the mom guilt started for me. And on top of that, I also suffered a broken coccyx, and that still affects me to this day, believe it or not. So it did something to my coccyx, the forceps. So yeah, that's when the mom guilt started. I thought I had failed my daughter, and that image of my daughter's face with the mark and all that really stayed with me for the longest time. Even today, it still bothers me. But what I didn't expect was the deep emotional aftermath, of this traumatic birth experience. The anxiety, the disconnection, the anger, the sadness, and the guilt for even feeling those things when I should have just been grateful and happy, that I had finally had my daughter. And that's when the postpartum depression started to creep in. And for a long time, I stayed silent because nobody was talking about postpartum depression or birth trauma at the time. This was 26 years ago. But birth trauma is very much real, and it can live in our bodies, our nervous systems, and our subconscious for years after. So, and it shapes how we mother, how we move, how we feel, and it's not your fault. Like if you've been through this or you're going through this, it's not your fault, Norma. But you have the power to heal. Healing, that's your power. When you heal, you break the cycle. And I wish I had known these things, or these strategies and these things back then, because my postpartum depression might have not lasted so long. And yeah, like my story, I can go on and on and on. Like it came to the point where my postpartum depression was so bad that I couldn't even take care of my daughters. I had another daughter after this, and throughout the whole pregnancy for this one, I had in my mind that I would have to go through this again, and I was feeling a lot of anxiety. I was feeling a lot of, I didn't know, because I was thinking, okay, well, if it happened this time, it'll surely happen again. So I gave birth to my second daughter, they're about 3.5 years apart, and I had her natural, actually. So, that may be a relief, but throughout, like, I thought that I was going to have to go through that traumatic birth experience again. Trauma is trauma, right? It gives you anxiety, you overthink, and it's scary, downright scary. Um, and we live in a world where we are taught that, there's this stereotype that, when you're a mom, you should always have a smile on your face. You're a doting mom. And you're cooking and you're doing everything and everything is great, but they don't tell us how challenging becoming a mother can be. And that's where a lot of us, we struggle. And it's a silent struggle because we don't want to talk about it. I know I didn't want to talk about it because I thought people would think I'm crazy, or they would think that I'm not a good mom. And then there was this mom guilt that was always overcoming me. So it's really a vicious cycle, like when you're going through this. And what is birth trauma anyway? What is that? Well, birth trauma isn't just about what happened physically. Like in my case, because the birth, our body goes through a lot of changes from the moment we conceive throughout the pregnancy. Our body changes, and then there's the birth, and the birth is not all bells and whistles. So it's filled with pain and all that, to bring that baby out into the world. So we struggle, we go through a lot. So it's also how we experience the birth emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It affects everything. It's not just a physical thing. And everybody is different. Everybody's path is different. Some moms, like they're like a cat. They can have babies, just like that. But some of us are, we go through challenges, when we become moms. And that's where the stereotype is also. And if we feel that we can't measure up to what society expects of us, then, we feel guilty, we get tired, we have all these feelings, but we can't really talk about it because people will just like, not understand. right? So you basically have to go through it to really understand what it's all about. But now it's being talked about more, which is great. And that's what brings me here today and that's what made me want to become a coach to help moms like you to get through this traumatic or this post depression challenge and this journey, because I wish I would have had help back then. It might have not been so bad. So, yeah, so the trauma can come from different things. It could come from emergency interventions, like such as myself, like C-sections or forceps, like what happened to me. Feeling powerless, unseen, and dismissed. Like that's how I was feeling when he used the forceps without even my consent. He just did it, just because he wanted to do it or because he thought he, it would have helped or whatnot. But in my case, it didn't help at all. I ended up I almost lost my daughter, first of all, and I had a C-section after this. So, like I said, my pelvis is not wide, so she wouldn't have been able to come through, even if, so he could have just skipped that step but anyway, what's done is done. I can't undo it. The only thing that I can do is move forward and heal from it and release it, because for the longest time it stayed with me. It stayed with me. It stayed with the mom guilt. I ended up having two more children, like my younger daughters, and the birthing experience for these two weren't easy either. But I had already gone through it before, so I kind of like knew like what to expect and how to deal with it. But I still didn't have all the help that I needed back then. So yeah, and also birthing, you can experience extreme pain. You can experience fear, or you feel like you've been violated. That's how I was feeling, that that they violated me and didn't ask my consent, and it was scary. It was a really scary experience, and it can make you disconnect from your baby after birth. That's what happened with me. I kind of like disconnected because I had to process this trauma, like what should have been the happiest moment of my life. I felt like it hindered it. It stopped it. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure if you've been through it or you're going through it, you probably can relate to what I'm saying. And also lack of postpartum support or time to process the experience, because I mean, when we have babies, I mean, we can't just, you know, stop taking care of them, right? Like they come first, their needs come first. They have to eat, they have to drink the milk, we have to change all that. So often we just, go through the motions, but we don't really have the support that we need to process it. And birth trauma can also result in anxiety, in depression, or PTSD even. It can give you pelvic pain, tension, and chronic coccyx pain like mine, because me it twisted something in my it didn't break my coccyx, I think, but it did something to the nerves there, because now even if I sit for a long period of time, and this was 26 years ago, I still feel pain in there. It can also give you trouble bonding with your baby. It can give you rage, resentment, shame. Like I felt all of those things, and then it made my mom guilt even worse. And this is about it isn't about blame. It's about bringing compassion, awareness, and healing to what was never fully held. Because I didn't have the support. I didn't want to talk to my then partner about this because I didn't think he'd understand. So I was basically going through this all by myself. Um, but there's hope, because if I could heal from it, anybody can heal from it. You just have to acknowledge, you have to learn to recognize the signs, whatever it is that's going on in your mind and your heart. So let's talk now about how we can heal, the body, mind, and the spirit. Because true healing doesn't come in a pill. It comes through integration. In this day and age, this modern day, like they'll give us a pill for pretty much everything. Back then, they gave me antidepressants. I tried them and I was still getting all those feelings. It's just that they kind of like bounced back and, I felt numb. I didn't feel like so, but true healing comes through integrating different tactics or different things. And healing isn't easy. It's not linear. It's not all bells and whistles. You have to be willing to really face your shadows, your dark shadows, your guilt, your shame, your low self-worth, and things like that. But here's the holistic path, I took, and I now guide other mamas through this. This is incredibly important, and that's the importance of releasing trauma and limiting beliefs to aid in healing from postpartum depression. When we become mothers, we carry not only the joy and love that comes with it, but also the weight of our past experiences, our traumas, and our deeply ingrained beliefs. Because our limiting beliefs also affect, and our past traumas, like if we've had a past traumatic experience, it affects us when we are adult if it's not dealt with. And these can silently affect how we perceive ourselves, our worth, and our ability to navigate motherhood. And if this is left unaddressed, these can intensify the symptoms of PPD, making the journey even more challenging. And this is exactly what happened to me. Yeah, like this birthing experience was traumatic and it's what triggered it, but I also was a victim of sexual abuse by an uncle when I was very young. So that stemmed from there. I was a people pleaser. I put a mask on my face. I didn't show my emotions and things like that. So I was already struggling with kind of like depression even before I became a mom. So the traumatic birth of my daughter, it triggered it, and it made it more, it made it worse. It made it more challenging. So why releasing trauma and limiting beliefs matters? I've learned that in the past few years. Well, healing the mind and body. We have to heal our mind and our body because it's all connected. Everything is connected. Trauma isn't just a mental burden. It affects our entire body. And releasing it can reduce our anxiety. It can improve your mood. It can restore your overall well-being because it's all connected. And breaking free from the past as well. That can help. Limiting beliefs often stem from past experiences that no longer serve us. So letting go of these beliefs allows you to embrace a new empowered version of yourself. And it's not easy because these limiting beliefs are ingrained in our subconscious. So as I mentioned in our previous training, we use consciously, like the conscious mind, we use about 5% of our brain. So like maybe the front. And the rest, the 95%, is all unconscious. So we're not even aware that we're actually thinking these things or where they come from and stuff like that. So that's where past trauma comes from. So releasing this helps a lot. I know it helped me a lot. Now I'm going to share. Oh, okay. Also, I want to mention it also empowers your journey. So by releasing these emotional blocks that we have, you make space for self-love, confidence, and the ability to fully embrace your role as a mother without the shadow of PPD holding you back. Because postpartum depression is probably somewhat a chemical imbalance, but it stems from a lack of self-love, lack of confidence, and also our past traumas. So, and that's when we can deal with it early on, we have a better chance of healing from it quicker. So now I'm going to just share some tips for releasing trauma and limiting beliefs. So the first one to do that is to acknowledge and accept. The first step is recognizing that these traumas and beliefs exist. They do exist. They did happen. And what you can do is you can journal about it. Journaling can help you explore what's holding you back. Like when we write on paper, it kind of like outlines everything. So like anything that you've missed, it'll pop up. So this way we can maybe get to the root cause of, why we're feeling the way we feel. So journaling, I'm a big fan of journaling. I journal a lot. When I was a teenager, I used to have a diary and write everything in there. Journaling is the same because you can write anything you want in there. You can ask yourself questions, you can answer, you can, whatever it is feeling. If you're feeling anger, if you're feeling guilt, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you can write it in there. And another important tip for releasing trauma and limiting beliefs is seeking support, whether it's through therapy, coaching, support groups like this one. Like this is a support group for all moms, or trusted friends, even like people that you can trust. Talking about your experiences is crucial. You don't have to carry this alone, because I was carrying all this burden alone. If I had been more vocal about how I was feeling and what I was going through, I could have, at least, told my then partner. And then maybe he could have taken the steps, to kind of like help me out. But I felt like I was alone. And I was ashamed of telling anyone what was happening because I was scared. Like I was fear. I was scared that they would see me as a bad mom. And that again comes from my people pleasing and my low self confidence and my low self worth. And another type of support is you can seek coaching as well. That's why I'm here as well. So I am a postpartum coach, and that's what I'm here for. So if ever you are struggling and you need to release it or talk, or you need tips or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me anytime, because I've learned different ways to help. Hi, Shasha. Hi, beautiful sissy love. How are you? Our dear Shasha, she's tuning in from Philippines. I'm not sure what time it is in the Philippines right now, sissy, but it must be, yeah, you must be like in the morning, in your morning or something. Yeah, thank you for hopping on. I was just talking about how releasing trauma and limiting beliefs. And today, my topic is exactly that: releasing trauma to encourage healing, especially when it comes to birth trauma. And our dear Shasha, she just had a baby girl recently, actually, maybe a week ago or so, a few weeks ago. So she's a mom for the third time, and she just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Yeah, kudos to you, Mama Goddess. Yeah, I hope she and you are doing great. So yeah, so I'm just going to keep going. Another tip that has helped me release my trauma and my postpartum depression and all that stuff is practicing mindfulness and meditation. Techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, and guided meditations, it can help you process and release negative emotions. It's really helped me. I still practice it now. Like it's something that I've, put in my daily practice. It really, 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 really helps. And another thing is embracing positive affirmations. I truly believe in affirmations, because we tend to, our inner voice or our inner critic tends to kind of like, you know, stop us on our journey. Oh, 6:35 in the morning. Well, I'm glad that you were able to hop on. Awesome. Here in Canada, it's 7:36. So we're like about an 11 hours difference, I guess. But, so yeah, well, I'm glad to have you on here, Sissy Love. Yeah, as I was saying, so replacing limiting beliefs with empowering affirmations, it helps a lot. So remind yourself daily that you are strong, you're capable and deserving of love. And you're deserving of self-love and taking care of yourself. And you're deserving of your children, and you're deserving, of healing. That's something that you can tell yourself. Another thing is, like, if you're really, really, really struggling, well, you can consider professional help. Sometimes working with a therapist who specializes in trauma can provide the guidance and tools you need to heal deeply. And again, I'm also a postpartum coach, and I've studied in trauma, and I have a whole plethora of techniques and things that I've learned that can help, release trauma and things like that. So feel free to reach out to me at any time. If ever you're struggling, if you have questions, if you need support, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, guide you on your journey. And remember, mamas, healing is a journey. It's not a destination. So by releasing the trauma and limiting beliefs that no longer serve you, you are taking powerful steps towards not just overcoming PPD, but thriving as the incredible mama goddess that you are. And I say that with all my heart, because I've been through it and I was able to overcome it. And I had 4 kids in total. So despite like all the challenges that I've had and my postpartum depression and all that, I was still able to have 4 beautiful daughters. And I can finally say today that I'm no longer feeling guilty. I'm no longer questioning my worth. I'm no longer, depressed about or stressed about or anxious about, being a mom. I've by now had much experience on being a mom, and I know that I'm a damn good mom. And my mom guilt and all that all stemmed from limiting beliefs and all that stuff. So when you work on yourself and you heal, it's a totally different perspective. So now I actually enjoy being a mom, and I don't struggle anymore with this. And another thing that you can do is emotional healing and storytelling. Your story deserves to be spoken, in a safe, sacred space. You can journal it, share it with a trusted sister, or speak it out loud in a ceremony, for example, or in a live. Naming the experience is the first step to releasing it. You can tell yourself, like, here's an affirmation that you can tell yourself to help you do that. Is, I was there. I lived through it, and now I choose to heal from it. It's that's what I did. I was there, I've lived through it, and now I choose to heal from it. And that makes a world of difference. And another way is somatic release and body wisdom. Trauma gets stored in the body, especially the hips, the womb, the pelvis, and the nervous system. It's really, yeah, trauma affects everything. It affects us in so many ways. And a lot of us moms, we have the sacral chakra. So I'm not sure if you know anything about chakras, but the body has 7 main chakras, and these are energy. You can think about it as like little flowers or little spinning wheels of energy that are all along your spine. So it goes from the crown, it goes here, here would be the throat chakra, here would be the heart chakra, then in the belly would be the solar plexus, and down in your pelvis would be your sacral chakra. And a lot of us moms, we have blocked sacral chakra because of the birth or because of the trauma that we succumbed. So a lot of us are struggling with that. So if you have trauma, like you have pain in your hips or your womb, like your uterus or whatever, your pelvis, that might be a sign that this chakra is blocked and it needs to be released. And it's possible to release these energy centers. I'm glad that you have internet and data today as well. Yes, I'm so happy that you have you have access to a good internet today, Sissy Love, and that you were able to hop on. I think this is the first time that you're actually able to actually hop on a call. That's great. I'm so happy to see you here today. So yeah, so what helps me? Like, I mean, everybody's different and everybody has their own preferences and stuff like that. But things that have worked for me is when my baby, my last born, was born in 2016. I was 43 years old. And before she was born, I was about 7 months pregnant. And I decided to sign up for a Tai Chi class. I've always heard that Tai Chi was really good. And through there, I learned Tai Chi and I also learned Qigong. And I call her my Tai Chi baby because I don't know, she was just, I was doing the movements and stuff like that. And it's actually even safe during pregnancy because you're not like overstretching. They're just like movements. It's like a dancing meditation type of thing. So I practice this. I try to practice it daily, and I find that it helps. First of all, my joints. I'm currently in menopause now, so like I'm blessed. At 43 years old, I gave birth to a baby, and now I'm 52, and I'm going through menopause, and have been since 3 years now. So I find that qigong and that it really helps me with like any pains that I have in my hips and stuff like that. So I started a class, an online class called Inner Chi Flow Qigong. I haven't actually offered it like full blown, but this is something that I want to start doing, and I would like to offer it to everybody in this group. So if you're interested in that, type in the comments and I can connect with you. Another thing that's helped me as well balance my chakras is chakra dance. Chakra dance is basically dance. It's a movement as well. If you like dancing, but it's not like a set steps. You know what I mean? Like you just go with your own flow, and depending like the music and stuff, the music, it helps balance different chakras. Like the journey, it's like a journey. It's a healing journey. So that's something that's helped me. Another thing, gentle breath work, like doing breath work, meditation, diaphragmic breathing, that also helps. It can help calm down, like if you're feeling anxious and things like that. Or womb massage. There's actually something called womb massage or pelvic floor therapy. So that can help release any blocked or stagnant energy in that area. Because our sacral chakra is related to our womb, and and usually we have trauma there. So those are all things that are possible. And I've also studied massage therapy, and I've also studied Reiki. So I know I do Reiki as well. I can do it long distance, and I also am a massage therapist. So if ever you're looking for different techniques in different ways, if you're to be interested in a Reiki session or something like that, like a long distance, just let me know and I'll get in touch with you. So yeah, so these help release the pain that words alone can't touch, basically. So all of these have helped me a lot. And energetic and spiritual healing also can help. So you can call your power back through visualization. So visualization is like a meditation, but you're visualizing, you're healing, or you're visualizing. I've done inner child work, like when I was sexually abused and stuff, like when I was going through therapy, and my counselor helped me do a visualization that brought me back to that time. And the way it worked is that she had me visualize, like a big movie screen, and, seeing that little girl, that scared little girl, or that unsafe little girl. And she made me go back there as an adult, as myself now, and, to tell that little girl that she's safe and she's okay now, and it's okay, that she's okay. And that helped a lot. So that's basically visualization, and that's something that I can also do. Another thing, you can use crystals. Crystals are very powerful. Sound healing, like singing bowls or tuning forks or things like that. Those are very powerful, because energy we're all frequency, right? Even us. Everything around us is going at a frequency. So these things can help balance, our energy, our chakras, and all that. Or guided meditations as well. That can help. And another thing is reconnect with your divine feminine essence, not just as a mother, but as a sacred woman, because we're all sacred women. We're not only mothers. Before we became mothers, we were women. And a lot of us, we forget that part of us. We tend to focus so much on, nurturing and taking care of our kids, that we forget, there's a part of us inside us, that sacred woman, that wild woman. She's still in there. So it's really important for us to reconnect with our divine feminine. And that's also something that I can help with. And here's an affirmation for you. You can, close your eyes and just, put your hands on your heart, and you can just say, my body is a temple of resilience. I release the pain. I remember the power. Telling yourself an affirmation like that can help, release. Because the pain, our past is we're not our trauma. We are not our trauma, but we tend to carry it. So that's in the past. It's done. It's in the past. And now we just need to focus on the now, which is the present. So we have to release it, because if we don't release it, it stays stuck. And then it affects us, in our present moment. So if you tell yourself, my body is a temple of resilience. I'm strong. I release this pain. I remember the power. That helps if you repeat this to yourself, because affirmations, that's what it is. It's repetition. So it kind of grows on you, and it helps a lot to release stuff. And another thing is community and connection. The postpartum journey is a lonely journey, but you don't need to heal alone. You don't need to be alone. You can find circles like this one, the one that we have here. This is why I created this group, because I found that there isn't enough support for moms and moms going through postpartum depression. So yeah, find circles like this one. You can join workshops, let yourself be seen in your wholeness, in your divine femininity. Shame grows in silence, but healing thrives in sisterhood. So this is my goal. This is where we're at right now today, by connecting and, having this beautiful a sacred space, this community of moms where we can heal together, and so become the mama goddesses that we deserve to be and that we should be. And now, well, I'm gonna just, not homework or anything like that, but I'm just going to put this out there. because integration. I talked about integration earlier. So here I'm going to share with you a few journal prompts and affirmations, to help you start journaling and things like that, to help you start your healing journey. So if you have a journal or pen, paper handy, you can just write this down and do it whenever you feel like it. So the first one, so I invite you mamas to reflect, or to journal on what part of my birth story have I never fully processed. So I'm going to repeat it. What part of my birth story have I never fully processed? And here's question number 2. What emotions still live in my body when I think about my birth? What emotions still live in my body when I think about my birth? And here's number 3. What does healing look and feel for me now? What does healing look and feel for me now? So these are 3 simple questions. When you have time to journal, like have a moment, take a pen, journal about, write them down, and write all that comes in your head. It can be 1 sentence, it can be a whole page, it can be a whole journal if you want. It doesn't matter. There's no strict rules or anything like that. And what I would do is also, if you do this, I would invite you to share it in the group, like as a post, or you can even comment below this video. I would love to know if you want to share any of this. Please feel free to do so. So by sharing is caring, and when we share with others, then we can get a perspective and we can get support, that we may need. So I invite you to do that, mamas. So now I'm gonna give you 3 affirmations, and these 2 you can write them down, and you can even write them like on a post-it note, post it somewhere on your fridge, on your mirror, where you can see it, and repeat it to yourself every day if you can. So the first one, and you can put your hand on your heart. This is where your heart space is, or you can give yourself a big hug like this when you. So the first one is honor my body and the story it holds. I honor my body and the story it holds. The second one, I give myself permission to release and reclaim. I give myself permission to release and reclaim. I am a sovereign mama goddess, healing in my own sacred rhythm. I'm repeating, I am a sovereign mama goddess, healing in my own sacred rhythm. And that's it. So you just repeat them to yourself. Like if ever you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, or you're having a bad day or something, just by repeating these affirmations to yourself, it helps shift the mood or shift the mindset that you're having. So yeah. So beautiful mamas, know this. You are not broken. You are becoming. Your birth story does not define you, but your healing will liberate you. And I can vouch for that. I've actually healed and it liberated me because I no longer feel guilty. I no longer feel like I'm not a good mom. I no longer feel like I failed. I'm actually embracing my motherhood, and being I can't change my past. I can't change what happened, but all I can focus is on right now and how I move forward for my girls. And if you want to go deeper into this work, I'm offering a free Rebirth of the Mama Goddess 5-day workshop. It's totally free. I'm going to be launching it in July. I think it's July 7th. And if you're interested, just put in the chat here under this video, and I'll send you the details to sign up. I'm also going to be posting about it in the group. So if you haven't attended, I had done one a while back. And now I'm going to be offering it again. I'm going to try to offer this on a monthly basis. And so if you haven't had a chance to participate in my last one, I encourage you to do so. We're going to, like everything that I talked about, like today, I'm going to be, going over that, and we're going to be going deeper. Like we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, and it's for 5 days. So it's really an amazing healing journey. Or if you're interested, you can grab my free self-love for moms workbook. I wrote a self-love uh, for moms workbook. So yeah, if you'd like to have the workbook, you can just type in workbook, and I'll share with you the link to get that. And don't forget, you're always welcome at my Inner Chi Flow Qigong class to begin releasing trauma through movement. As I said, Qigong is really easy to do. As I said, you can do it even if you're pregnant. It's perfectly safe because you're not stretching, you're not lifting anything, but like it helps you. You know, it helps your hips, it helps everything, it helps balance everything. So if you're interested in that, just type it in the comments, and I'll share with you, or I'll connect with you to share you the links for all of that. And I just noticed Heather just popped in. Hi, Heather. I hope you're doing great in your corner of the world. I'm just wrapping up right now, almost. It's our weekly Mama Goddess Chronicles live training. And today I talked about releasing birth trauma, and, to encourage a path to healing. So that's what I talked about. But if you want, you can watch the replay. The replay will be available here in the group. So you can watch it at any time. And I'm also going to be adding this to the guide section in the group. And I called it Mama Goddess Chronicles training. So yeah, I'm going to be doing these every Thursday. So I'm going to be going over a topic. And also, don't forget as well, we also have our Empowered Mamas Goddess coffee chats every Wednesday. So these ones are not recorded, they're not live in the group. It's a safe space, sacred space for moms to come in, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. It's safe, so you can share whatever it is that's going on in your day or your life or anything like that. So we do that while sipping our coffee, and your kids are welcome as well. Like it's a video call, so, and I totally understand, when you have little ones running around, well, it's kind of hard to focus and stuff like that, but like kids are welcome. It's a it's a kid friendly space as well, because I have some moms that come in and their little ones are running around, or they have to get up and go tend to them, and that's perfectly okay. So that's what it's all about. So these are on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, so you can just keep an eye out on I usually post about it and share the link to join. And it's on a platform called Meetin, which is like Zoom. I stopped using Zoom because, I found that it was getting really expensive. So I found this alternate platform, and it's really great. It works the same way as Zoom. You don't have to download anything, and you can just log in like with the link. It's kind of like the same like Zoom. Yeah, and these are not recorded, of course, because it's a private, sacred space. They're not recorded like these. Yeah, if you want to join us, feel free to do so. Just keep on the lookout for the event. I usually create an event for it. So yeah, so that's about all that I had for you today. I'll have more for you tomorrow. Thank you so much for showing up today or tonight, depending on where you are. It might be the morning where you are, or the evening, or the late night. But thank you for showing up, Mama Goddesses, for your body, your baby, and your becoming. You're rewriting the narrative of motherhood. One breath, one step, and one sacred circle at a time. So sending you all my love, and from my heart to yours, have an amazing week, and I'll see you next Thursday. So we'll talk to you soon, mamas. Much love. And the replay is available. It's going to be available for you to watch indefinitely. So take care, mamas. Love you all. And I'll see you next week. Bye.